It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. When you're thinking about the radio station, like what's what are hit me with some of like the highs and lows just over the years. Give us some of the funny stories, the highs and lows, but I also want to get into like what the hell makes a good day? What are you looking for in a show host? Where's the trajectory of the station going? What's the vision? What's the grand master plan?
Don't get me started.
Oh, I want to get you started. This is where we're going. But like, let's do some highs and lows. I mean, like starting anything from just a vision and starting it from scratch is a huge pain in the ass. So give me some of like those highs and lows where it changed the direction, like, direction changing highs and lows. The big movers, big shakers.
Well, I'll give you the low. So when I first started the station, I certainly couldn't do it by myself. I mean, thank God, I can't believe that I have someone like you that was not even really in the industry that is on our station. To me, that's like we really jumped over and grabbed some people that understand what we're doing. That's a testament to all the people that got involved. If you're the first in line, they did a study. I told you about this. I think I might have told you about this. They did a study about the way the brain works, right? Mm-hmm. And this happens all the time. They did a study in Times Square. They wanted to see how people follow somebody else, right? So they drew a line in Times Square, just a blank line, and put a cone next to the line to see if anybody would stop at the line. That nobody would stop there. Finally, they planted somebody to stand in front of this white line next to the cone, and we stood there for a little while, and nothing really seemed to happen. But they put another person right behind that person. They planted two people in a row, and all of a sudden, the line got really, really long. Now the line went to nothing.
Yeah,
the line was nothing. It didn't go to. It
was literally a line. The line formed due to a line by a cone.
Just a line. They wanted to see how the brain works. Now, then they started interviewing people in the line. Like, what are you waiting for? I don't know, but it was a long line. I wanted to get in front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So so we use that same theory with Turfs Up Radio. For me, it was really difficult getting people on board. I had to come up with a real quick. People have ADD. They didn't want to understand it. It was like, what do you got? A podcast? What are you doing? Like, I know it's not a podcast, it's a radio station dedicated to the industry. It was so hard. Finally started getting people to help me to explain what we do by collecting people like you and Hecubus. And so once we started getting more people and we started gaining ground, that line started getting longer. It's been a lot easier. So the low point was me trying to I had this vision, didn't know how it was going to turn out, knew it was something special, but it's still not there yet. It's still not where I want it.
It never will be, right? Because the bigger, there's a spot where you want it today, but when you get there, by the time you're approaching it, you're already going to be looking at the next thing, right? And it, like, that's how us work. That's how the entrepreneurs do it. We like push to this boundary. We set an unrealistic goal. We don't get there as fast as we want to usually because we set an unrealistic goal, but eventually we get there. And as we approach it, we're like, well, that's not acceptable for me to like reach a goal. I must need a new goal. Because what am I going to do when I get there? Just like be like, okay, well, here I am. So on to the next goal.
Well, entrepreneurs, we're all made up of something different. Like we have our different personalities, right? Like you and I, we're cancers. We run off.
Oh, you're going astrological signs on me right now.
No. Well, we run after emotion. Like we know we can do it, right? We can do anything. You and I we set our goals out. We could go and do anything. But sometimes we run off emotion. We feel like I'm a yes man. When my clients call me up and they say, "Can you do it?" I'm like, "Yep, I could do it." I don't think about it. I just do it. And then I figure it out. But if I look back and I go back, I should have probably said, no, I shouldn't have done it because even though I got it done, it just took me too long to do it.
It was a distraction from a bunch of other shit that would have been way more profitable and probably twice as easy.
Exactly. And there's people that are like that. There are people that can sit back and look and forecast way ahead a little bit better than us because they don't run off of emotion. I wish I was more like that, but I'm not. And I've got to this point the way I am. But when I swear to God, I was doing a show on iHeartRadio for a long time called Turfs Up, And I kept thinking to myself, I want to have a station dedicated. I didn't even know anybody else was doing podcasts. Didn't even know anybody was doing anything like I was doing. I thought I was the only one. So I said, we need to have this. And so I started doing some research. I at least did some research, and I realized there were other people were doing it. I said, well, wait a minute. Is there a radio station that's dedicated to the industry? And then I found out there wasn't. So I called my program director at iHeartRadio, and I said, I'm not coming in anymore. I'm done. I'm starting my own station. And he goes, really? Do you know what you're getting into? And I said, nope, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Nope. And that's why I'm going to do it, is because I don't have any idea. And if I did, I wouldn't do it. So I'm going to do it before I know how bad it is.
It was funny and I remember I had a sponsor. Miramichi Green was my sponsor, and they were that's when I was just doing the show at iHeart, and we wanted to do some live stuff. And he's like, you're never going to figure out how to do live in Kentucky. When I covered the Kentucky Derby, I was there, and I was hanging out with all the people down there, and I got to interview all the jockeys down there, and they and he said, you'll never go live from there. And I said, I'm going to figure it out. And I figured it out the day of how to get onto my station. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I did it. I ended up, what I did is I just tuned right into their broadcast, and then I talked right over them, and they loved it. They're like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I did it, and it worked. So now we know how to do all that stuff. We can go live from our phones now, which is pretty interesting. But that was a few years ago. That was 4 years ago, Now we're kicking ass.
So what was that biggest oops moment for you? What was that path changing? Oh, F that, way up. And then what was the biggest high for you? What was the biggest holy smokes, I can't believe we accomplished that?
Well, when I listen to the station, and we get people that I can see the numbers. The numbers are insane right now. Our downloads on our podcast are incredible. I mean, I'm not lying when I tell you you're up there. You're up in the top 5 of all of our podcasts that we have. We have 48 podcasts. You're in the top 5 consistently. I mean, 3 of your shows are always in the top 5. So I'm not lying. It's insane. Month to date. And your podcast is just doing so well. And that it gets me excited when I hear you guys playing this, the stuff that I'm talking about, and the stuff that we worked on together. It's not me. Listen, I wouldn't have been able to do this. Heck, once I got Hecubus on, that's when we really started to roll, because he really believed in what I was doing. Everybody else said they all wanted to just kind of we'll go along with you, Darren. We like you.
Yeah, that's neat. Go along with you. Yeah, I'll support you.
That's great, Darren. No one really did anything about it. But when I said it, but Hecubus said, look, let me come on board. Let me help you run the station, and we're going to make something out of it. And when I look at him, and he really believes it. He believes in what we're doing more than he has to pull me back in sometimes. And that's good to have. He's that second person, and that's why all the line forms because of him behind me.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one, or check out this one, and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.